Okay guys, as promised, we're going to be doing a video on how to build one of the Animal Plastics racks. And I just finished building a 7-drawer rack, and now we're going to build a 3-drawer on video, since I've got a little handle on how to do it, and to show you that for people that may be afraid to do it, it's actually pretty easy. So first I'm going to cover the stuff that you need before you start. In the box came all of the side shelves, everything that goes with the rack. This is all still wrapped in plastic. I have something to open the plastic with without scratching up the shelves, so a pair of safety shears. One of the most important things is a thermostat for regulating your flex watt. In this case, it's a Spyder Robotics Herpstat 1. So it also came with the flex watt right here, already nice and connected and ready to go. We'll be putting that in. And my best friend when building this. These guys have a lot of screws, so if you have a screwdriver, it's going to make your life a lot easier. What's also nice is this one has adjustable power. I have it on a setting of 3 out of 15. I don't want to strip anything out. I want just enough power to drive the screws home. And the 3 seems to be perfect. As soon as it gets to the point that it's in, it starts to ratchet out and won't push anymore, so I'm not stripping metal screws in a plastic rack. Okay, so the AP rack comes with full set of instructions, and a couple pages there, plus pictures to show you how to do the whole thing. All the belly heat racks seem to go together the same way, so these are the same instructions that came with the 7-drawer rack that's oriented a little bit differently. But the build is going to be the same. Also comes with a big bag of screws. I know the other rack had plenty of extra screws. I'm sure this one will as well. So you don't have to worry about being shorted on screws. Alright. So, taking each piece, it looks like the way to start this is you're going to start with the top shelf and one of the sides. So, Animal Plastics labels everything. So in this case, this rack is a 3-high rack that is actually sideways, so that can hold either a 1755 32-quart tub, or it can hold 2 15-quart tubs in the same slot, depending on what you're doing. So we'll start with one side, which in this case is the right side, shows you that that's the front, and this is the top. And maybe you won't really be able to read that in the video, but trust me, the stickers tell you exactly the orientation of everything. Do not remove any of these stickers until you're finished building your rack. Alright, so we got that side. And then we want to find the top shelf. Alright, so first one I grabbed, labeled top shelf, first shelf. Okay, so you see there's a lip in the front, and this will show you that that's going to be the front of your shelf. And we know that this is the top. So it's going to go together like so. Alright? Okay, so then you're just going to want to put in, you have 2 slots for screws, 1, 2. You really want to make sure that everything pops into place. So in this case, a little bit of a gap there, so I'm going to back the screw out and enter it again. Okay, so we have that side on. So next we want to put the other side, which is conveniently labeled left side front. So we know that it's going to go on like so. So we put this around. It's nice when the rack is small like this. The big rack, basically you need to lay it out and you're going to have to work around it because you're not going to be able to move it. Once you start getting all the sides on, it's going to be a little bit too big just to flip around. A dry fit of the pieces. Yeah, doing this with a manual screwdriver would be murder on your hands. Alright. So we got the top and both sides on. Next we're going to insert the shelves starting at the top and working our way down to the bottom. The back piece will be one of the last things to go on, which is sitting over here. So next is the shelves. Now, the shelves are also numbered in the order they need to go in. So this is the next shelf. You can see it's going to be labeled shelf number 2, second down. Alright, the important thing when installing the shelves is that your FlexWatt groove right here, this is your FlexWatt groove, where it's going to pop in, and I'll show in detail how to do that because I can take a little finagling. It needs to be up. So this is the top, this needs to be up. You just slide it into place. Make sure you get a dry fit, and then you're going to screw it in. Alright, so everything has a nice tight fit, so if you wind up getting hung up as you're coming in because your angle is wrong, you just back out the screw a little bit like I've done here. Get everything lined up again. There we go. Then go for it. And for these back parts here, we'll be flipping this rack over in a minute and checking all of them because you may find the ones a little bit off that you couldn't see from the angle that you're working on it, and you'll be able to fix it at that point. So that's the other reason that's nice to have this set at a low power, so that when you hit that and it may not be lined up, you don't just strip the whole thing out and then you have nowhere to put your screw because now you've stripped out the hole. And all their holes are nice and countersunk, so when the screws are in, they don't stick out, which is nice. Okay, then we're going to follow with the next shelf and then the bottom shelf. Okay, so the final step while the rack is in this position will be to put on the tote kick. Alright, this piece is pretty easy to orient because it has the Animal Plastics logo engraved in it, as well as whatever model of rack it is. In this case, it's a 1754 EV. And it's going to go in the same way as everything else. It has slats for it to slide into. And it has 2 screw holes on each side. Alright, that's it for this position. Next, and it's nice because this is a small rack, we're just going to flip it over. Okay? While you're flipped over, you want to check and make sure that all your back ends are aligned. Okay, it looks like this drawer, I'm going to need to redo the screws in the back in a couple of spots. Alright? Alright. Now the bulk of the structure is completed. The next step is going to be probably the most difficult and daunting one for most people, and that's going to be putting in the FlexWatt. After, as I found out on the other one, it's actually not that bad. Okay. When you open your FlexWatt, what you're going to have in there, you're going to have 3 pieces of aluminum tape that you'll wind up using to tape down your probes and to run wires up the back and whatnot. Okay, what else you're going to have is you're going to have enough FlexWatt to run everything that's already put together. And now you'll notice that there are sticky 3M sticky deals here on this side. You want to make sure when you initially run this FlexWatt that it's run in a manner that you're going to be able to, once you're done, tape those to the bottom. Okay? So you want to undo, there's some paper tape on the roll here keeping it rolled up. You want to completely undo that. Alright. You're going to completely unravel your FlexWatt. Alright, several feet of it. Now remember to orient this where you'll be able to stick those sticky parts on the bottom. Now in this case, it doesn't matter if you start on this end or this end. It's going to turn out the same way no matter how you do it. So what you want to do is pick an end. In this case, I'm going to go here. And you're going to snake the FlexWatt through. You want to keep it straight, bring it in. And there are slats here that you can do it. I chose to keep all the FlexWatt on the inside. There is a way to do this where you could run your FlexWatt looping it through the outsides, or even run individual pieces of FlexWatt through the outside with some slats that I'll show you later. But it's much cleaner and it's really not that hard just to run it inside. So once you pull it up through this end, now you're going to bring it up, keeping the same orientation, and run it up through the other end. Now what I found is that because it's kind of curled, it can be difficult to get it through this end over here, but just run it a little bit. You should be able to grab the little piece lip that sticks up and be able to get it to run through. So just keep feeding your FlexWatt. Make sure you're feeding plenty of it so that you're not pulling really hard on it and then you wind up, you know, yanking it in a way that you really shouldn't. Give yourself plenty of slack. You'll have enough. Okay? And then what you're going to want to do is keep pulling this through. Alright, now you've got it loosely run through here. Okay? Now I'm going to reorient the camera to show you how I get it started, and then we'll show how to put it in. You know, once you get it started, you can pretty much pop it in pretty easily, but getting it started is the hard part, so I'll show you. Okay, here we go. I grabbed some extra light so you can really see what's going on in here. So remember we had our grooves running up. Now these grooves actually have a T to them that, you know, if you stick your finger in there you can really feel it, but it's hard to show it on camera. So what we're going to want to do is we want this piece in the orientation that we're going to have it, laying like so, and we need to get it started in here, that way we can run it the rest of the way through. So what I've done is, it's got to be cut on an angle because that's just the way that the FlexWatt runs. So whichever the longer end of it is, which you can see are they've taped off the metal sections, which is nice. You're going to want to get that up in there as best you can, up underneath that T, and as high up as possible. Then you just press it in with your finger at the bottom. So I don't know if you can see that, but you can see what I've done is I've pushed it up in here, then I just pressed it down. Then I'm going to press it into the corners. The corners are cut in such a manner that it's able to make the turn without binding, but will still hold in place. Okay? So once you do that, what you want to do is, I just start at the bottom, I kind of push it in, then I go across the top and do the same. And you can do it either way. Or you can even kind of bend it like this a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. And you can get it to follow in as well. So, a couple of different ways you can do it. Okay. Now once you've got it laid in the slot here, you want to make sure that it's up tight into this corner here and that you're completely pushed in everywhere you need to be so that you're under all the lips all the way down to the side here. Okay? And then you're just going to follow that all the way down to the end. Okay? And once I have that in, I want to make sure it's nice. It's going to be sticking up there, so I want it nice and flat. Okay, the reason this is done this way is so that when you slide the drawers in, you're not constantly rubbing on the edges and the top of the FlexWatt. The FlexWatt is recessed, so it sits where it will still heat the drawer, but you're not wearing it out and you're not hitting the edges all the time, taking your drawers in and out. Makes it for a very smooth setup, and most of the high-end manufacturers are doing this now. So I'm going to move the camera back out now, and we're going to finish snaking this FlexWatt, but the hard part's really done. Okay? Okay, we're back. So we're going to finish up the FlexWatt. Really no need to go into super detail here. You've seen how it was done. I'm just going to, you'll see a fast-forward montage of me finishing it up. Okay, so that's it. It's all popped in place. So, I'm going to bring this around so you can see that there is still extra FlexWatt left here, and we're going to take care of that here in just a second by, remember we wanted the orientation to where these are going to face down, and they do. So, we're in a good spot there, okay? Okay, for some reason the thing stopped recording on me in the middle of it. So what you can see, what I did was I took the sticky and I left some slack and took the sticky parts and I attached this to the bottom so it's nice and secure. Then I went through and made sure that all the FlexWatt was installed correctly. After that, it was just a matter of screwing on the back side. Has a few screws on the sides and in the back. And then the last thing to do is put a couple screws in the top and we're done. Alright, that's it. So that's the base of it built. The next thing we'll cover is installing the thermostat. Alright, so the next thing to do with the setup is actually to place the probe in the right spot. So what I'll do is I'll take my small piece of tape, tape it over there just like that. I'm taping it directly to the FlexWatt in a spot that once I slide the drawer in, it's not going to hit it. It's just going to be in place.